Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Runday. Today I'm joined by the one and only Megan Brown and Sammy Brown. Cheers.
How you going?
How's it all going?
Good, good.
You had a busy year?
Thanks for having us. We've had a very busy year. Started with the Andina 5.0, didn't quite make the 5.0.
Can we backtrack?
Yeah.
Can we backtrack to the year that, for me, the year started with you last year at the Blackall 100?
Yes, I had probably my best experience at Blackall last year. Came second in 11 hours 27. But for me, the highlight really was my experience of the day.
Yeah, it was one of the highlights for me. I mean, it's one of the, I think it'd be one of the top 5 finishes time-wise. But watching you cross the line, I've seen you in some races that have been shattering, I guess would be a great word. Mentally, and not so much. I've never really seen you physically damaged, but we'll talk about one that you will later. But the whole experience there at with the Blackall last year, I just thought you really timed it well. You ran. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because we're only going to be 2 weeks away from the event.
Yep.
So people could maybe jump on that.
So I think in previous years, because I love Blackall so much, and I have wanted to do so well there, and I've put so much pressure on myself to do well there, and I just haven't managed my own expectations. So my only goal really for last year was to enjoy the race and just let it unfold organically and not force anything, and it made such a difference. I felt like I matured as a runner, learnt some new skills, got to put some new skills into practice, and I just really enjoyed it. It was hard, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Really smart racing.
Yeah, there was hard parts in it, but I was able to just accept that and keep going, and I loved it.
Were you? I've got a really bad memory. Were you at the race last year?
Yeah.
So with you, Sammy, with the crewing and stuff like that, which I think is really important to talk about too. One of the things that I know that I guess I've heard Megan use the term, you've been her rock in races. So there's, I guess, that mental aspect of you guys as a union and partnership coming together, which happened over running, by the way.
Romance, baby.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about. I know the details of that. But he got more than he bargained for at that race, I tell you. Do you want to talk a little bit about the crewing and how that kind of worked? Yeah. Was there a plan associated with how you're going to do this?
Oh, for sure. Crewing for Megan is actually really easy. She's got a spreadsheet and it's got really simple instructions. I want this at this point. I want this at this point. No questions, facts only. It's like just stick to the plan, and like not how you're feeling, not who's doing what else, all that other stuff that's you have no control over.
Yeah.
It's just sticking to the facts and sticking to a pretty simple plan.
Yeah. Because you guys have I know you've done it. Not recently that I can remember, but I do actually remember when I first met you, Sammy. You had the fluorescent bloody, almost tie-dye. Is that correct?
The tie-dye crop, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Because I was like, who is this dude? Like it in baggy out to Megan.
I also was like, who is this?
Yeah,
it's too late for that. She knew who the dude was.
Yeah. Like, because you guys have been in and around that event for such a long time. Yeah. To learn every year, and you're going to be in it again this year. And you seem really relaxed now with your running.
Yeah.
I guess that's that maturity you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like, I've really, not a kind of viewing running in a different way. Like it's a joyful adventure. It's not a punishment or a slog, and it's there to connect with the community and have fun and just to enjoy doing what I love.
Yeah, and you could see it, and you can actually you could feel it all this year. I know a lot of us from Run Queensland have been following you all year, because you got into Western States in the draw last December, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you found out through Simon.
Yeah, through you guys calling.
So we were like, I think Simo might have watched it. I'm not sure.
He was listening to it on YouTube, I think, on the way to Biwa at dawn.
Oh, that's right.
As he does.
Yeah.
So we all knew about it. Yeah, that's right. Because we had Biwa at daybreak on the Sunday morning, and we knew that. Yeah, as we were getting up, we're like, holy hell, brownies now in it, you know.
And then you rang, and I thought you were talking about a prank I put on my Instagram. So I'm like, no. And Simo's going, you're Megan Brown from The Gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, you got into it. You don't know.
So for all of you playing at home, what we're talking about is the Western States Endurance Run, which is the 100-mile race through the Sierra Nevadas in California, and I've been privileged enough to do that. I told them I'd get this in there. I plugged myself. I got up. It was about 2 hours slower than what Brownie did, but anyway.
You did it.
You did it.
And the Blackall 100's a qualifier for that, which allows you to go into a draw. And how many tickets did you have when you went in?
I think it was 5.
Well, every year from Blackall.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had about like
actually, I probably had 7.
32 tickets, or
Yeah, I probably had quite a few.
Yeah.
Because every year since Blackall was a qualifier.
oh,
was
so yeah,
mine.
right. So you probably had about 16 to 32 tickets. So it's taken you a bit to get in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, Simon discovered early that you got in this race, and we were all excited and contacted you about, you know, that you're in this race. So, which is in June, just gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about the lead up? How did you approach it? Because when I got in, I was that excited. I'd waited such a long time. It was something that I dreamt about.
9 years?
I was about 5 years, but I should have started it if I had started entering earlier. But it was a dream of mine to go, and I just got so excited. I mean, I started running as my name got drawn out. I was up and down the mountain over the back here at 3 a.m.
Oh,
you know, with the pack on. So
Yeah.
that's where I was at. But I got that excited. I injured myself, and I went to the start underdone. How did you approach it? Because for me, it was like, wow, I'm going to this thing. I have to train, and I
had the total opposite approach. I thought, wow, I'm going to Western States. I need to calm my farm and cool my jets. And I actually didn't really even feel like I was going there until we were literally going there. And then I started to allow, it was probably the last couple runs in my build that I started to visualize like the finish, running around the track, and I really started to let myself feel the emotions around it. But yeah, I was a real slow build, and I took everything really easy and just did a little bit more. And I had a really great build. I feel like I didn't get to show that on the day, but I'm so proud of my training block for that.
Ton of mileage,
I did a lot of time on feet.
You weren't a wreck at the end of the week.
I wasn't.
I was
felt good. Yeah.
Recovery. You handled all your niggles.
Yeah.
Really smart.
Listen to my body.
Did the extra bits and pieces.
Yeah.
wow. This is a bit mature.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you should. Megan's actually a coach as well. Maybe she should have coached. Maybe you should have coached me. I might have gone there and done something.
But if it was me, even 2 years ago, it would have been a very different story.
Did you race a lot leading up to it?
No.
Any races at all?
No.
Did you? Okay, so from Blackall, you got in.
I did Yandina. Well, I didn't do that. I did most of Yandina.
Oh, but yeah. So you got it. I remember this. Yeah, and you sort of said you weren't feeling it.
Yeah, and that was part of my mentality. I was like, I don't want to dig myself into a hole now.
There's so much to do.
I've still got so much work to do before Western States, and I was really trying to save my matches for then.
Yeah, it's interesting that instead of trying to slug it out when you know that's your A race, it's actually, because I don't really hear a lot of this A race, B race stuff anymore. When I first started in it, back in the olden days, you used to have a kind of A race, and there wasn't as many races, so you weren't bouncing from race to race to race. So
I'm very big on A race.
Priorities,
prioritizing. Well, that's what my focus is. That's what I'll go all in for. Yeah.
So what about with? Well, let's go to Western States. Seeing there's no other racing in between, that's pretty cool. I know for us playing at home, watching you, we started. You know, for us, it's 10 p.m. start. For you, it's a 5 a.m. start. We're watching this progress throughout the day, and we're like, wow, Brownie's on 24 hours. She's getting a silver buckle. Like, we're all like, it was
on.
It was exciting for us to be watching this unfolding, and the pace. I think we seen you at, you're sitting in 19th for most of the day.
Yeah.
66 overall. I mean, it was amazing.
I had no idea either.
Yeah, because you're just
yeah.
running well.
That was
Yeah.
one of our rules. She didn't
yeah.
want to know about time
I
or
don't wanna
pace or
know.
place. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
She just need to
So
take care of herself.
before we get to the feed explosion, from a crew point of view, how were you? Because you don't see Megan till 50 kilometres,
Yeah.
50 k's. How's that for you? Like, what were you going to do for Megan that day? Was there anything different?
So yeah, crewing for Megan is always a bit stressful because I want the best for her and I know how much she puts into it.
Yeah,
So I want her to have a good time.
yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah.
So not to see her till 50k is a tough one because you're like, is she having a good time? Is she having a bad time? We show up there at a certain time. If she gets here soon, she's going way too fast, you know, and you're hoping for her to have a good day. I was pretty lucky to have Hilly and Jem helping us out, like really lucky. I've been thinking back to trying to do that whole thing by myself with the car shuffle and the pacing and the getting around. It would have been a nightmare to do it solo,
Yeah.
so it was a huge help having those two. Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. Apart from that, it was the checklist. It was what Megan had written down. This is what I want, and this is when I want it. And this is we'll stick to the facts and hope for the best. She's got to do all the running.
So you know, when you've said that a couple of times, I actually want to touch on that. You've said this is what she wants. This is it. Does that ever change? Is there any flux in that? Like,
okay.
because
Yeah.
because
like if
you know,
this
this is my
happens.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So are you assessing like?
How she's gone.
Yeah, because I know with
Yeah.
Megan, she can sort of pick up before I do how
Yeah.
I'm kind of tracking sometimes.
Yep.
When I'm going good, it's different, but
yeah.
when I'm in the shit.
I was really lucky with that day. Megan, even though it just got harder and harder as these races do, and this one was pretty rough. She just came in with a positive attitude each time. Like even though things might have been deteriorating, she just came in and was like, okay. She did she did all the work. She did all the running, but
Teamwork, baby.
Yeah.
I gotta disagree with that when
Yeah.
you say that, because you've done
Yeah.
ultras, and I
Yeah.
think people
Oh,
say
no,
they've
it
got to
helps,
do.
yeah.
You've got to put one foot in front of the other, but if you've got good people around
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
that makes a
Yeah.
difference.
Oh,
Honestly,
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah.
would not have finished that race if it wasn't for Sam,
Yeah.
Jem, and Hilly.
Yeah.
I had a great up to about 100. I was feeling really good, and I did start to feel my feet, which in hindsight is when I should have acted more on it.
In your defence, you haven't had foot
But
problems.
I was like, I've never
before
had foot
Western
problems,
States,
so
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
And then when we got to 145k, that was the point that I just had nothing left at all. I felt like a shell of a human,
Yeah.
and that was like Jem, Hilly, and Sam were what got me to the finish.
Yeah.
I could not have done it without them.
yeah, because you can pick up your first pacer at 100k mark or
Yeah.
60 miles, and then you can basically swap them in and out for the last 60 kilometres of
Yeah.
that event, can't you?
Yeah.
So
So Hilly did 100 to 125, and then I jumped in at Green Gate and
Yeah.
did 125 to 160.
I can
Yeah.
remember at one point looking at a rock, and I was like, if Hilly wasn't here, I'd probably just sit on that rock and I'd live there.
yeah. So do you want to talk through what happened with your feet?
Yeah, so they I think it was from being doused in water all day, and the
Trying to
water,
stay cool.
yeah, trying to stay cool, and the water running down into my feet, so they were wet for most of the day, and they just ended up turning into, Jem phrased it beautifully, mashed potato feet. They
They were a
were
mess.
just
It was-
like, when we were changing my shoes at 1:30, Sam's going, you don't need to see this.
So you're like, what's happening down there?
I'm like, what's
"You don't
going
need-
on? You
it's
don't
none of your
need to
business.
see
Don't look
this.
down there."
So they were really wet, were they? They
Yeah.
were really wet.
Yeah,
Like
they've
that
just been
real like you just
Soft,
touch them and
pale,
the
and
skin
it's
just
like-
separates.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what Chris Jacobson had that. And
Yeah.
so you were getting the friction from that powdery dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a different style of dust, wasn't it, there to what we're experiencing? It's
Like
like
bull
this.
dust.
Yeah, it was. Is that what
Yeah.
you call? I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah,
even.
it is bull dust.
Bull
yeah.
dust, okay.
Yeah.
Is that where the
Really
term comes
fine.
from?
Yeah,
It's bull dust.
Yeah, that's it. It's bull
There you
dust, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
learning new things.
Oh, full on. So, so it was obviously then unbearable to put pressure on your feet, as
it
it
was
was.
so painful.
That, and you might have seen the pictures
Yeah,
of the chafe
I had
getting
this
around.
chafe.
Oh
from
yeah, on
my
the side. Yeah,
torso.
yeah.
It's just-
What was that about?
I have beautifully soft, delicate skin.
Yeah, we can kind of get there. I'm getting the picture with the feet. But so was that from the pack?
I think I'm not even sure.
She'd used the same pack and shirt.
used-
She'd trained, done all the
Yeah.
long runs, done everything right.
I did everything exactly the same, and I always tape like around my midsection
Yeah.
where I chafe, but then it just like moved beyond the tape and was just all around the tape.
There was like the
even.
rectangles of where the tape was, and the chafe was around the tape. It was just probably from being soaked all day.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's what when I was there, I didn't find that I was sweating a lot. I mean, sorry,
Yeah.
I was sweating a lot because it's about 40 degrees in the day, but you weren't wet.
Yeah.
And I noticed that they love to sponge it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I realised when I was there, and it's funny because we talked before you went, and I never thought of it until when you said it today, is I was always like this, getting the water,
Yeah.
so it wasn't running down
But
my
I
legs
was
and into
just
my shoes.
Just standing there and having like the sponge squeezed on top of my head, and
Yeah.
I'm like standing straight up and down. And so yeah, I would give a big tip to people who
With your feet,
goes to do that method and like just get
Yeah, because I mean it's literally then running down because it's kind of because you were covered in that bull dust. Because I remember just
So
being
fine,
it was
yeah.
all over you, wasn't it? It was just this film of dust by the end of it. But that's continually running into your feet. It would have just made like a sandpaper, I'm assuming. On
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so painful.
so could you do anything to treat it at all, or did you just have to dry the feet and
It
continue?
was
Yeah.
pretty much too late by the time we got to it.
Yeah.
We'd always planned to change the shoes and socks after the river,
Yeah,
but in hindsight, probably could have done it with the different pair earlier on.
Yeah.
Maybe faster.
At
Or,
100 rather than the 1/3. I was like, I'll be fine until after Rucky Chucky
Yeah.
because that will be the main spot where I get wet.
you go through a river, so you think, all right, I'll change your shoes.
But no.
yeah. I think when I was there, I think it was Megan was saying, it might be Courtney Dauwalter. She said a Canadian, so I'm assuming it was Courtney Dauwalter. They were drying her feet and powdering them
Yeah, I've seen
as
that.
well. So
Yeah.
they sort of seem to know the lay of the land.
They're over it,
Yeah.
So it's such an
Yeah.
interesting thing to go to a different space to run, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
know all the ins and outs and
Simple little tricks.
yeah. So it was like the most amazing experience because it was Western States and the feeling there, like it lived up to the hype. It was so well run, real community feel. And the only other race that I think captures the same bit of spirit is Blackall, like just that real community focus. But then it was the worst, most horrible experience as well because that last 15k took me 5 hours.
Yeah, we were watching. I was like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "Man," and then I'm
All
kind
of
of
a
like,
sudden,
but you could see you were moving, and I said to Megan, "Something's going on," and I think I might have messaged, and you might have got a chance. I think you might,
Possibly, yeah.
yeah,
And I don't loiter at aid stations, but so then we'd come in and I'd be like, all right, what are we going to
What are we
eat?
doing?
What's
Yeah.
going
Oh,
on here?
And don't they have some food there?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
and they
amazing.
were cooking up like jaffles,
Quesadilla.
Oh, I know that one. I
Oh,
remember
good.
the Canadian pancakes.
Yeah, all sorts.
potato jam.
Yeah, it was full on.
Yeah. So good.
And you got the shirt.
Yeah,
Got the
I wore all the paraphernalia
You didn't
today.
you didn't bring your buckle though.
Yeah.
I know, I can't believe I forgot the buckle.
Would you go back?
No.
No, that's it.
No.
So you've done the experience.
Yeah,
and,
I think it's too soon. Everyone's like, you've got to give it some time. But honestly, that last 15k was so traumatic. I'm like quite happy to put that 100 miles to say, oh, I tick that box, I did that. And
But it's, I mean, you know, from your perspective, being so competitive, I mean, that's you're racing some of the best in the world there, and
was-
you know, we're in the top 20.
it was pretty cool. There were
Like-
a couple of ladies around me. Like Casey Lichttag didn't go past until 130. And I was just a bit like, wow, I can't believe how I've
So
been
Casey,
going.
so for those at home, Casey's a former winner of the race. You can see that on YouTube. Yeah.
So
Oh,
that
you
was-
were.
that was-
Maybe too, the other thing is about, I sort of feel that because you're quite humble, it's realising how far you've come in your running, how good you are, how good a team you got, like, and acknowledging that too, like, because I know, you know, you can say your feet and all that, but at that moment you were flying. It was
and it felt good. Like I felt,
she was in control.
I felt really, I backed myself. I felt,
It was a bit inconsiderate to the people in Australia watching that, because we had to keep waiting till midnight. We're like, come on.
And
9:30 would have done it.
Real apologies to Liv, who ended up late to work on the Monday.
Yeah, it was very popular, like on the YouTube stream, or whatever they call it these days, TV.
Yeah.
There was loads of people asking where you were, because obviously everyone was trying to, where is this? What's going on? Where's
And
this
I had
going?
no idea. And then afterwards, people were like, you have to watch the live
You
feed.
didn't
And I
have any idea where you were.
I had
at
no
that
idea
stage.
I didn't even know who I was after that race. But
You look pretty good though. Something lifts, hey, no, all that pain I mean, I know for me, all that pain went away. When I first seen the footsteps on the, the WS 100, I don't know if you remember them on the road.
Yeah.
when
But
you
once
got
you
to
hit
10.
that stadium, I mean, we've
That-
seen that, because
we-
you're watching you guys together.
We
It
were
was
all
amazing.
having a chat. So Jem, Hilly, Sam and I were all there chatting, and the boys are like, are you going to run the track? And I was going, I can't run. And Jem is going, she's done enough. You don't have to do anything. Like, leave her alone. And the boys are like, you're going to run the track though.
Well, you did.
And then I was like, I'll see. I don't think I can run. And then we got to the track, and I'm like, all right.
All the
I'll
people,
run.
It's
I'm
400
like-
meters.
Could you hear the announcer calling you in?
I couldn't hear anything. I don't really know what was
I
going
I
on.
heard a few things going
Yeah.
on. Like it was pretty cool.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember they were talking about, you know how you can put in a comment?
Yeah.
And I had put in there, this is going to be my qualifier for the Blackall 100 miler.
Yeah, that's right.
The Blackall 100 miler. Everyone wants one of those.
But now I can say that I would not probably do it.
Yeah, it's special. It's pretty special, eh? It's one of those things for me that's a real highlight each year. We seem to always get one from our race that qualifies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it gives you. I mean, there was, I think, 4 there this year. You had who we have.
Mike Duggan.
Mike Duggan,
Troy.
and he got a silver buckle. He finished in about 23:32, I
And
think.
he looked so strong going
storming
past us.
and
Yeah.
130, 140.
Yeah,
Real smart race,
Yeah.
that guy.
yeah. He did real good to go under 24.
Yeah. And then there was Troy Lethlean.
Yeah, I think his was a Blackall qualifier from back a few years.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And then Kurt Ryder.
Kurt Ryder.
Yeah, those guys dropped during the event, which is understandable.
Yeah.
She's a tough one out there.
Brutal out there.
And I found that like a lot of people talk about it being more runnable and
Oh, what a load of crap.
yeah,
Oh, it's a downhill run. I'm like, compared to freaking what?
yeah.
It's about 6,000 metres, what is it, 7,000 metres downhill or something, and 6,000 metres uphill, and because there's more up or down, they call it downhill. I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
It
my
is
quads didn't feel like
yeah.
that.
And it was a lot more technical than what I thought. I honestly thought it would be like quite smooth, wide fire trails for most of it, but it was
Even right at the end, ton of single track.
it was much harder course than what I anticipated.
How did you find the back 35? Like, because for you,
Pretty
it would
slow.
have been. Yeah. I always
No,
feel
it
bad
was-
for
it was
Phil
awesome.
Fowler, but it was with me too.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. I had a great time. It was the whole time leading up to it. I was telling Megan, don't you take away my Western States experience, all right? I'm pacing the last, what was it?
35K.
35K.
Yeah, she's got to hang in for 125 for you to get your experience.
Yeah, don't take it away from me. It was awesome. I still think about just watching Megan take herself to the brink of like a full collapse, implosion sort of
Yeah.
thing. And yeah, she didn't look good out there. She was doing it tough, and it's just amazing to watch someone do that, take himself that far, and then be like, all right, so like right up to that 145. She was on sub 24 hour pace. She was top 20. I knew these things. I didn't tell her any of these
Oh,
things.
right. So you didn't. So she had no idea. You had no idea the whole time. I thought you were.
That was one of the rules.
Yeah, right.
She doesn't want to know. It's not none of
Yeah.
her business.
I think
It's
it
not
was
important.
at 120. One of the guys in the volunteers said,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh, you're doing really well. You're in 17th." And Hilly's like, "Don't tell her."
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was one of the game plans, just so that wasn't a thing that she had to think about. She just had to keep moving forward forward and do her thing.
Yeah.
And then when we got up to about 145 and she started slowing down a little bit, or around the 140 mark, I had to say, listen, we're on track for 24 and you're in top 20, so if you want either one of those things, we're going to have to keep moving. And she, like, it was incredible to watch. Pushed, got another 5k out of her, and then sort of, I don't know, it just became too much.
That was it. I was like,
I don't want to say a negative thing about it because I know how hard she worked, but it was sort of enough is enough at that stage.
Yeah, I was like, I love myself too much to put myself any further into.
She dug pretty deep.
I'm
Yes.
walking it in.
But it's really funny too. Like, I know my experience wasn't what I wanted there, and there's part of me that wants to go back. But there's also a part that thinks that was the experience, and the time's the time. It doesn't like. You know, I'm never gonna be like what you are as a runner. I'm never gonna be, and plus I'm an old fart. But you know, like, to be a world beater and all that, like, is that the experience we really want there, or you know, what is the experience? I mean, I can hear the joy that you guys had.
It is what it is, and it was,
you know,
incredible.
And it was wasn't just it wasn't about the outcome.
The time or the place.
It was about the whole experience there, and sharing it with Sam, Jem, and Hilly, and just being there. That was what it was.
Seeing the pros walking around, you know, they've got ridiculous times, and they're just regular people, and you can talk to them. And it's insane.
We've got a great sport, haven't we?
Oh,
yeah.
I think we have.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, that Western States went a bit longer than I thought. Although it is a good race. It's worth talking about, isn't it? What about, then we go to, how's your passport looking? The World Skyrunning Championships in bloody, I'm not going to say the place, you can say it's in Italy.
Yeah.
I looked it up today. Domodossola.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, like this.
Domodossola.
There you go.
Ciao. Cafe, what is it? Una puffa caffavore or something? No, that's not it.
It's pretty close.
Una cafe latte, per favore. That's it.
And then
That's
just
all
for
I
my
did.
sister,
Beautiful. That's all you
prego.
Oh yeah, bravo.
Prego.
That's what you say when you get it, don't you? When they give it to you.
Yeah, it means you're welcome.
Yeah. She thought it meant number 2, but it doesn't.
So
She's like, prego. Come on.
So,
How did you think that?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so you got to the World Skyrunning Championships.
Yeah.
So how did that go? How did that work actually? How do you qualify for it?
Yeah, so there's a few skyrunning events in Australia. So skyrunning is just really steep and really technical and at altitude. But although we don't really have altitude here, there's still some skyrunning events. So just Buffalo was the one that I did.
Victoria.
At Bright, Victoria.
Yeah.
So I won.
So that'd be hilly enough.
Yeah, it was 75k with 4,500 meters of climbing. So I won that event last year, and this year it became like an automatic qualifier for the Australian team. So I applied, and with my experience and my win at Buffalo, and got onto the team. Yeah.
So what's that? Only 3 months after the feat,
Yeah.
isn't it? Is that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
3 months. So they recovered well.
Yeah. It was 2 weeks. I was like, I'm not going to run again until I want to run. And I did 2 weeks of nothing. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go out for a little jog. And it felt pretty good.
And so So how do you prepare then? Oh, what was the distance for the sky running to start with?
So it was 60k, just under 60k, and I had 3,500 meters of vert. And it was like just these 3 climbs.
1,000
Yeah, 1,000 meter
Oh,
climbs.
really? So it was like climb, plateau, climb, plateau.
drop back
Climb down, yeah,
Oh,
and then you go
really?
up a bit higher, and it went up to 2,900 meters.
Oh, so you get altitude.
Yeah,
How'd you go in that?
I had no problems.
Yeah, cool.
I just slowed down a bit. I could feel it, but they had a checkpoint.
You just don't hang around that
Yeah,
high.
they
You
had a
just
checkpoint
get
at the
down.
very top, and people were loitering around a bit, and I was like, "This is no place for me coming
catch
from
my breath.
sea level to
Yeah.
stay." So
Could
I
you-
just
could you
kept
feel
going.
it?
I could feel it.
Yeah.
And then when I'd come down the other side, I would be like, "Oh," I'd like feel better. Oh yeah, I got my strength back.
So do you crew? Can you crew in this?
No, it was a bit of a nightmare, that one. Just the way it's set up. It's like the start finish is in the middle of this valley, and it does this loop in and out of this huge valley. So it was couple of guys did, but I gave it a miss and went and did my own adventure.
Yeah.
What did your adventure look like?
It was a hike up to the Italian-Swiss border.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the Pyrenees? Is that the Pyrenees? Is that what they call that range?
No.
I got no idea.
Yeah, I don't know where that is either, but
I only know that because of Killian Jornet.
Sounds good.
Domo di Sala is up northern Italy, and it's like surrounded by Switzerland.
Oh yeah.
So we did it on the other side of the valley. We did a hike up out of the valley up to the
Swiss border.
and over the bloody.
So you're doing this while Megan's racing?
I was having a great time. It was awesome. It was an absolute blast.
People looked at me, they're like, is he going to crew? I'm like, I'll be fine. And in my head, I'm like, it's not going to take as long as Western
it's only
States, so
60K, should
I'm
be
going to
fine.
be totally fine.
Well, you had a crack at you. I don't know the time, but I know you came 12th.
Yeah, so I ended up doing 8 hours, I think it was like 24 seconds.
Just over 8.
Just over 8.
Wow, bloody hell, that's moving.
Yeah.
I seen you finish actually. That looked bloody solid too.
Oh yeah, because there was
Yeah.
a girl from Japan in front of me, and some of the Aussies I come around, I'm like, hey, yeah, Japan, they're just up ahead, and I was like, had been thinking, man, I hope no one comes up from behind me so I don't have to sprint it in. Didn't even think I could come up on someone else, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to sprint it in. So we have this sprint to the
got in
finish.
front.
I got in front, and then I thought, oh, she's not coming with me, so I slowed down a bit, and then I looked
And she
back
was
and she
rallying.
rallied, and I'm like,
Oh, so that's in the background of that video
Yeah.
that you posted. That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see someone in the background. I thought, man, they're running.
She picked
So
her
was there a
feet up.
teams part? Was there a teams component to this with points, or was it individual?
Yeah, so they give you points as well. So if
Hmm.
you have 3 members of your team finish the event, you get points. So Australia ended up finishing 7th? Or,
5th or 7th or
but
something
it was
pretty nice.
the highest place that we've ever finished.
First non-European.
Yeah, first non-European woman.
No, first
Not
non-European
for
country.
And
What,
we-
to compete or to?
No,
To
to
place.
place. Like the top 5 or 6 or whatever were all European countries,
Yeah.
and then Australia was the first one.
Oh,
Didn't
outside.
have
Yeah,
those
right.
bloody
Okay.
mountains
Yeah.
to-
and
Yeah.
in the men's, we got second with Blake Turner.
Oh
Bloody hell,
wow.
it smoked it. It was
It was
incredible.
a great day for Australia. in that
Wow, that's
one.
pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Because when I seen your position, I thought, wow, she's bounced back well. Because I didn't realise till you just see you. Oh, they're overseas again. What's this one about?
It was really nice to have. I felt like I squeezed everything out of myself there. It was really nice.
So that's what, a couple of weeks ago too.
Yeah, so that was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What about recovery from that one? What do you do?
Really? Oh, we just went
Oh, yeah.
hiking the next week.
Yeah, because we had 2 weeks there, a week before the race and a week after. So
Yeah.
she was tapering before the race, so we didn't do as much. I did a few of my own things. She raced in the middle, and then the week after we did the
went
adventures
out
together,
and-
hiked up to the border,
Oh, wow.
just
Yeah.
to check out all
Oh,
the
so you're
different
kind of
mountains.
recovering by slowing down, like
Yeah,
yeah.
wasn't much
Yeah. Just
running.
Jogging down, hiking up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just having fun outside.
Yeah, like-
and- yeah,
yeah, wow.
yeah. Oh, it was
Far
incredible.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
So
went-
you kind of just been going taper race, a little bit of training, taper race,
What were you
and
saying
now you're
about A
going
races again?
yeah,
Did you mention something about A races?
yeah,
What happened to that?
yeah.
And then,
Well, I guess Western was the
Yeah.
thing.
Or maybe
Yeah.
these have just been the build for Blackwell.
Well,
building up for
I
Blackwell.
kind of I don't know where you're at with Blackwell, but I mean it's kind of one of those ones that's probably a bit more fun anyway. I don't
love
know
it.
where you're at with racing it, but going on what you're saying, it's going to be how you feel anyway. So
Yeah.
An advantage.
yeah, I just love it. I just love the event. So I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna go, and whatever happens, happens.
What about then well, you've done it too, so you can answer this. For first timers that might be coming, what one bit of advice do you think you'd give
Oh,
that you could?
it would be to enjoy the course and the community, and just to connect with people.
It's too late to tell them to do the work. 'Cause
Yeah,
Yeah, it's over and done
Yeah.
with now. If you
hopefully
haven't
they've
done,
already done the work.
yeah.
So taper's important.
yeah.
Don't go out too hard.
yeah. Don't go out too
Yeah.
hard.
Cows get the gals. Eat,
Cows get the girls.
eat a lot. Manage,
Eat a lot.
Manage the heat.
Don't eat a lot on the freaking bluff, please.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the fertiliser. I don't even get fertilisers at the spew. God, there was a bit of that last year. They're eating drinking bloody Coke, down the bottom, and then it's stuff,
Straight in the
going
heat,
on.
straight up the block.
Yeah, sugar in the heat.
Oh,
Great mix, sugar and heat.
yeah, look
Great
after
combo
yourself.
for a spew. Yeah. So, is there any plans with? Do you have time plans anymore? Or are they gone?
No.
She's done enough that
Yeah.
every time that you've put like a time goal or
Yeah,
a place
actually,
goal, you put this pressure on yourself.
Yeah, I used to always, and I'd look at splits
and
I'd
results,
and I'd be like, all right, I should be about here, but then I didn't end up enjoying the run, and I was always like
thinking about what's going on.
And now I'm just like, well, I'll get there when I get there. I'll see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just feels like, it's kind of like connecting to yourself, isn't it? Like, instead of these external
Tune in.
things, tune in.
Yeah.
That's a great way. I would say that for me. Tune into your body and let it do what it wants to do, sort
Have a
of
listen.
thing.
Yeah.
Slow down if you need to, and take the time when it's freaking hot, and all that. Yeah.
Sure.
Ride the highs and accept the lows.
Yeah.
Well, we'll finish on the last bit that I wanted to talk about was your coaching.
Yeah, I am.
So how long you been doing it? And then you might as well give it a plug, because I really like your philosophy of how you approach racing, and I know that that's spilling into your coaching. So there's some lucky people out there that are being coached by you for sure.
Sam has been encouraging me to do it for a very long time, but I started at the start of this year, and I've got so it's women's specific, trail and ultra, and I've got a really beautiful group of women,
Mostly local, so you can see.
mostly locals, so we
face to
can
face with them.
yeah, I like having that connection, and actually seeing them and getting together to do runs or training sessions. I love it, and I want more women to get into ultra running, and I think what a great way to kind of lead by example and coach. And
Do you know your wish is true, because at the Yandina one in March, 60% of the field was female.
yeah, and Black Hole 50 last year was like 55 or something.
I haven't had a
crazy.
look this year at what the stats are, but they are really high.
They're really high.
So it's such a. I love it as a sport. It's such a leveling sport, and everyone can enjoy it.
Even the 100 at Black Hole is one of the highest female percentages for participation. I think it was 28% just off the finishing stats last year, which is huge.
God, you're better than me with the stats.
She loves it, eh?
Yeah,
I love
great.
it. I love it.
So hang on, we've got to go back to your coaching.
Yeah.
So most of the people that you coach are kind of local to you. You can connect with and see and stuff. I really think that's important in coaching. For me, that's huge.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's one of them. I think it's actually the most important thing.
I think you get more out. Like I do online onboarding, but I do try and get together then one-on-one with the person and have a chat. And I feel like you get a lot more out, have a better relationship, and I really value the relationship.
I know a couple of the people that you coach, and I can see the joy that they have in their running, and I kind of feel like it's. I mean, I know they're enjoying it, but it's a reflection of what you're bringing to the table for them too. And I think it's really something you should be proud of, hey, because it's big.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you got this bloke that pushes you and all that stuff to do. I mean, I know, you know what I mean. Like, he's a great support with some, the stuff that you do. So, but do you want any more athletes? Because we could. Well, and the other thing too that you did speak to me about this earlier was you don't have a big load of people, so you kind of
more isn't better.
You've got to focus towards the athlete instead of having loads and loads and loads.
Give them the time they deserve.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't,
and they pay for too.
Yeah,
oh, for sure.
I don't want people to feel like they're just another number. Like I want them to feel like they're one and only. So I do keep it quite small. But I am thinking of taking on more athletes in the new year.
Yeah.
So I do have a wait list, but I think I will reach out and just put the feelers out if other ladies did want to.
Do you want them to come and see you like a checkpoint while you're running or anything, depending on your day or whatever? Like they could come and tell you.
I might be there.
If they can keep up, yeah.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, well, maybe later. Well, probably even later on you wouldn't. I know I couldn't. How if you want anyone to get in contact, is there a way to do it through socials, or what's the best way?
Instagram would be the best one. So it's Megatron_Brown on Instagram, and yeah.
Is that in like the Decepticons?
Yep.
That's Megatron, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what is it? Megatron
_Brown.
Is that all you do? I don't know much about Instagram.
Yeah, you can like
I've got young
send them.
kids,
You
they know
can
it.
you can slide in.
They know what's going on.
Oh, they know?
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
Slide into DMs.
Oh,
Slide
slide into
into my
DMs.
DMs.
Rightio. Nice. Oh, well, I suppose that's probably about it for us, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for sharing your day with me, today and share. I mean, we've had a bit more of a chat than this, but
pleasure.
it's such a great day when you guys come out, and I'm so
we
glad
love you
you
guys.
shared your Western States experience.
Well, we
with
always
us.
come up for a chat, and then like 6 hours later, we're like, we gotta get the hell out of here. We've just been chatting for hours.
I got to probably do some work. Oh, this is work, isn't it? No, this is fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheers, guys.
Hey, cheers.
Thank you.
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you guys.